Good evening, and welcome to a meeting of the Athens Board of Zoning Appeals. The time is 7 p.m. and the date is December 11, 2018. At this time, I will call the meeting to order. The board consists of 5 members and 2 alternates, the alternates taking full part in the discussions and becoming a voting member in the absence of a member or when a member abstains for conflict of interest. Present tonight are members Mr. Ed Baum, Ms. Lisa Carson, Mr. John Goodekins, and Ms. Kay Towsley. And alternates present are Mr. Aaron Thomas and Ms. Jessica Koplowitz. I am John Goldsey, the chair, and also we have present the zoning administrator, Mr. Rick Sorois, and secretary, Mr. Paul Eschenbacher. At this time, I invite you to view a pre-recorded video on the rules and procedures of the board.
The Athens Board of Zoning Appeals operates according to the following procedure. The chair will name and describe the case. The zoning administrator or secretary will state the basis of the objection and any applicable facts or conditions pertaining to the case. The appellant or their representative will give reason why the appeal should be viewed favorably. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of the request will be heard. Anyone wishing to speak in general comment will be heard. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition will be heard. If necessary, the appellant or their representative will offer concluding, summary, or rebuttal remarks. Testimony from the floor shall be closed. The board will deliberate and render a decision. According to Athens City Code, Section 23.07.03b, the board has power to grant variances from the strict application of the code, provided the variance will not be contrary to the public interest, the spirit of the code is observed, public safety and welfare are secured, and substantial justice is done. According to Athens City Code, Section 23.07.10c, variances from the code shall not be granted unless the board makes specific findings of fact based directly on the particular evidence presented to it, that the standards and conditions imposed in this title, if applicable, have been met by the applicant. Exceptional circumstances. There are exceptional or extraordinary circumstances or conditions applying to the property in question or to the intended use of the property that do not apply generally to other properties or classes or uses in the same zone. Practical difficulty and undue hardship. Because of exceptional or extraordinary circumstances or conditions pertaining to a specific piece of property, a literal enforcement of these regulations will result in practical difficulty or undue hardship that is unnecessary to the achievement of public purposes. Preservation of equal property rights. Literal interpretation of these regulations would deprive the appellant of rights commonly enjoyed by others in the same zone and the same vicinity, while a granting of the requested variance will not confer on the applicant any special privilege that is denied to other properties in the same zone and the same vicinity. Minimum variance. The variance granted is the minimum variance required to make possible the reasonable use of the property. Absence of detriment. The authorizing of such variance will not be of substantial detriment to adjacent property and will not materially impair the purpose of the zoning code or the public interest. Not of a general nature. The condition or situation of the specific piece of property or the intended use of said property for which variance is sought, one or the other, or in combination, is not of so general or recurrent a nature as to make reasonably practicable the formulation of a general regulation for such condition or situation. Any person, resident, or officer, department, or appointed body of the City of Athens, aggrieved by a decision of the board, may petition the Athens County Court of Common Pleas concerning the illegality of the decision. Such petition must be filed within 30 days after the mailing of the decision of the board to the applicant. Thank you.
Is the one we did not hear last time is case 1825V the property at 17 and a half South Lancaster Street. And the second case will be case 1827V, the properties at 7 North Congress and 34 West Washington Street. The board is required to take testimony under oath. Would anyone wishing to speak concerning any item on the agenda please stand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you will present to the board will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but truth? Be seated. Thank you. Okay, going back to case 1825V, the property at 17 and a half South Lancaster Street is Zone R2, and University Rentals is the appellant. Appellant is requesting a variance from ACC 2310, Table A, the schedule of bulk controls, to allow construction of a duplex with lot size of 4,850 square feet, where 7,000 square feet is the minimum requirement. Any comments from the code office? Any questions for the code office? I got a couple of questions. If this was a single unit on this size of the property, would they still need the variance? No. Okay, so. And then what is the other duplexes in this area, in this neighborhood, in this zone?
Well, it's R2, so there's a few duplexes scattered throughout. I mean,
Okay.
Just off the top of my head, I think 69 is a rooming house, but 73 has 2 units, doesn't yours have 4 units at 77?
Okay.
And across the street at 72, 74 East West State, and yeah, there's several duplexes throughout.
Thank you. Would the appellant please come to the podium, state your name and the address for the records, and your case.
Dan DeLuca from University Rentals, 15 Dove Drive, the home address. Yes, so basically the situation is I'm applying to build a duplex. I originally applied for this about a year ago, and at that time it was suggested, I was originally going for a total of 6 occupancy, but this time I'm just going for 4 after coming to the board and that kind of thing. It was kind of suggested with the parking situation that might, help things or whatever. But obviously the situation is an R2, and the lot is what it is, I guess. I mean, and we're just, and I could build a single family structure without going through the variance process, which could actually be bigger in size than what this is. But what I am building adheres to all the setbacks and everything else that went through the code. The only issue was the minimum feet requirement. And that's what I'm here for today.
Any questions for the appellant?
We looked at this a year ago, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
It might have been longer than that. I don't know. It was at least a year.
Again, the reason for having a duplex is what?
Well, it's in an R2, and, it's, for me, being in a rental business, I'd like to maximize what I can with what I have there.
Okay.
Because a lot was expensive to buy and
Okay.
all that.
Okay, you may be seated, and then we may call you again. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of the request will be heard now. Please state your name.
I think
You need to go to the podium.
my name is Alan Irvin. I'm here with Judy Jones, who owns an adjacent property. It does share a property line with the lot. We didn't oppose it before. We did, in fact, I myself had thought of with the uses for lot could be. Remember when there was a house there, our concern then was, even though stacked parking was allowed, the sheer number of cars that were going to be stacked just seemed totally impractical. Especially in where some of the cars weren't even going to be from the same apartment. You were going to get locked in, and it just didn't seem like a practical thing. I don't know what the layout is now, but we're glad to have the neighborhood improved. Vacant lot, really, that doesn't really attract anything good. So utilization of the lot is a good thing, and I understand that. It's a challenging lot, so if parking isn't practical, whether it's legal or not, if it's not practical, they're still going to be on the street. If they know from just the week before when my roommates were gone and my car was the third one in, that I don't know what the layout is now, but that was our only concern before and would be now. But Judy has a very old property that only has, even though it's 4 apartments, only has 4 people in it. And you would think that virtually every property would appear to have parking, but on State Street, which this is only half a block away from, and on Lancaster Street, which doesn't allow parking very much during the day because of the school zone, it's simply challenging to there's some kind of an overflow onto the streets that I can't quite explain, considering that parking should be addressed already. Again, we're not opposed. We're glad to have something good happen in the neighborhood, but I hope it's not stacked parking. I just don't think that whether it's legal or not.
Before you go, I want to clarify something, because I first called anybody who is for the variance.
Well, I think I am.
So you are for, against?
We're not opposed. We're not opposed.
General commentary.
General comment.
Okay.
General comment. I didn't want to wait to be opposed.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe that, yeah. We're for and for.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak on behalf of this variance, for this variance? No? And you just did a general commentary. Now, if anyone is opposing this variance? No one? Okay. And board member, did you have any questions for the last speaker? No. Okay, we're going to close the discussions from the floor, and we could either discuss or maybe make a motion.
Well, let me just make a quick comment that I've made before, and that's because of the nature of Athens. We are flooded with a number of properties which don't meet code because they are smaller than 7,000 square feet. And I think this is just another example of it.
Well, on the other hand, this property can be developed with a single unit without any variance.
I think the fact that he downsized to apartments makes a difference too. 'Cause I remember this case from before. It was 6 apartments and parking was the major issue for 6 cars.
So who would like to make the motion? Okay.
Yes, I move that the board grant a variance to property at 17.5 South Lancaster Street from ACC 2310, Table A, Schedule of Bulk Controls, to allow construction of a duplex with lot size of 4,850 square feet, where 7,000 square feet is the minimum requirement.
I second.
Okay, John, second. Are there exceptional or extraordinary circumstances or conditions applying to the property in question or to the intended use of the property that do not apply generally to other properties or classes or uses in the same zone?
Well, I think, as Ed said, I think that it's
Well,
small.
again,
Things under 7,000.
right.
again, you know, my point is that the property can be developed without the variance. So it's not a matter of that there is no other alternative.
It's true.
Practical difficulty and undue hardship. Because of exceptional or extraordinary circumstances or conditions pertaining to a specific piece of property, a literal enforcement of these regulations will result in practical difficulty or undue hardship that is unnecessary to the achievement of the public purposes. Are we by denying the variance, will be creating a practical difficulty for this piece of property? I don't think so.
No.
No.
Preservation of equal property rights. Mr. Eschenbacher said that there were some other duplexes. Is that a good word, duplexes?
Duplay.
Duplay. In the neighborhood. So, but again, are we granting more privilege to this piece of property by granting a variance for a duplex?
Possibly.
It's similar structures in the area.
Yeah, we do. Is this a minimum variance?
No.
No.
Absence of detriment. Again, we are not discussing the parking because it was not mentioned in there, and I'm sure the setbacks are okay. But there's a possibility of maybe more vehicles on this property. That's just my,
That's an ongoing issue in town.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not of a general nature. Is this a general nature?
No.
Okay. Are we ready to vote?
Oh, yeah.
All in favor of granting this variance, please raise your hand. Oh,
I can't
All
vote
of-
tonight.
I don't have to call for the
Yes, you
opposing.
do,
All opposed?
because we all might abstain.
Okay. So then, all five, everyone opposed? Okay, very good. I'm sorry, you don't have the variance for this case. Now moving on to case number 18-27V. The property is at 7 North Congress Street and 34 West Washington Street. Zone is R3. Athens Mental Health Inc. and the gathering place are the applicants. I understand the board member, Mr. Baum, you want to do some changes in here? Or should you?
I'll make the motion, and when I do, I'll add the changes, but I will tell
Okay.
the people what the changes are right now. There's a proviso.
Okay,
The proviso will read, provided that this variance shall be revoked if the properties cease to be used for mental health purposes.
okay. So
So when I
Why don't you- why don't
make
you-
the motion, I'll just add
why
that.
don't you just go, instead of me, read the whole thing and add that
Okay,
to it?
I'll read the whole thing and add.
Okay.
Okay. I move that the Board of Zoning Appeals grant.
No,
Oh.
not granting yet.
Oh, you mean-
Just the statement, which I usually do.
Okay. Appellant is requesting a variance from ACC 2310-1, Table A, Schedule of Bulk Controls for 7 North Congress Street to allow a building addition with a left side setback of 0 feet, where 8 feet is the minimum requirement, and a variance from ACC 2310-01, Table A, Schedule of Bulk Controls for 34 West Washington Street to allow a building addition with a rear setback of 0 feet, where 30 feet is the minimum requirement. Structure lot coverage of 57%, where 30% is the maximum allowance, and total lot coverage of 61%, where 60% is the maximum allowance, provided that this variance shall be revoked if the property ceased to be used for mental health purposes.
Thank you, thank you. And Mr. Eschenbacher, there is a 2 after the street on the second line to allow for the records. Okay, the code office. Would you like to kind of summarize exactly what the 2 properties are going on in here, just for our benefit and the audience?
The 2 properties, obviously, it's called a gathering place. It's a mental health facility, and as other things are taken care of there, they went to the board for some expansion. I do believe was it for the kitchen? For the kitchen, and so they both had decks, and they thought they would just connect both decks with a walkway. It never dawned on them that they were required to get a permit. We addressed that, and here we are, basically.
Okay.
For
Again, last time I was there for the previous case, I noticed that there was some walkway and kind of a deck maybe, and so this is an addition to what they had before, right?
That's correct. It's a walkway connecting both decks.
Okay.
It's a walkway. It's an
new.
actual raised above the
Okay.
ground.
It's new since last time they were in here.
I do believe so, yes. Isn't it? No.
Okay, we'll hear when the
Yeah.
time comes. Any questions for the code office?
Yes, just clarification, this is just for the walkway, not for the decks?
The decks are already existing.
Okay, so it's just the walkway connecting? Okay.
Any other questions for the code office? Ma'am, you may come to the board, to the podium, and state your name and address.
Okay. I am Ginger Schmallenberg. I am the Resource and Development Director at Athens Mental Health Inc., doing business as The Gathering Place. And do you want my personal address? Or
No, whatever
7
we can
North
find you.
Congress,
Yeah.
7 North Congress Street, Athens, Ohio. Yes. Okay. So basically, we're really apologetic. We really feel a little silly because we didn't realize that for doing this type, what we wanted to do, our whole focus was we had purchased 34 West Washington and the parking lot, and we're trying to obviously make Recovery Corner in the uptown area. And so what we had done, we already had a little small deck behind 34 West Washington, which is now Mike's Bridge House, which is a co-occurring recovery house. It's a level 2, 5-bedroom for males. And we wanted, and then of course we have our back porch area, a deck. And so we just had our contract. We wanted to have some way to connect the 2 properties, just because we really believe that we're there for support for the recovery house. And so we're actually staff on site. And so it just really made sense to connect the 2. It kind of really united our properties. Stairs coming down. So it's just like a walkway, very simple. We did not know that we had to have a permit for something. Our contractor built it already before he let us. We just did not know. And so luckily Rick educated me, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So, because we had just been here for the kitchen. So here we are. And we requested because we own both properties, and it's like we're not really impeding on either the way that it is. It's like our 2 properties. So I don't know if you have any questions for me, if I can explain it.
Yes.
It's like the 2 backyards, right? It's the 2 backyards run into each other.
Do you remember when you were here before, right?
I do.
Okay. Was this addition was made after that date, or was it there already built?
The 2 decks were already, no, it was already built. It was already built. We had actually already built that.
Because I recall
Yeah,
the walkway.
we walked up, yes.
And I actually said it looked very nice.
It looks really nice, yeah. No,
That's-
it was already built. That was already
Okay.
built. We did not know. And I think Rick told me he didn't know until he noticed it in the paper.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because it's so set back, you can't see it from the road.
And the
just 'cause-
conversation I had with you at the place, I think I mentioned that you brought that thing up. And then I said, well, if there was any issue, it would have been in the discussions from last time.
Right, and it just didn't come, it had nothing to do with our kitchen addition, which with 7 North Congress, we're expanding into,
Okay.
to double the size of our kitchen space, basically.
All right.
So this really has nothing to do with that, and it was built before we ever came here. It was kind of like in our grand scheme of things
Okay.
to do.
Any questions for the appellant?
Is it also like wheelchair accessible, like it's able to?
You know what, it's actually not ADA accessible. You can't be ADA accessible the way that you can't. I mean, it would be from anyone living in the recovery house.
House to
Yes,
house.
yes. And so that was one reason we wanted to do the ADA, but the ledging, like we were literally told by an architect that you could not do it on the way that it's built. So it's not, unfortunately, completely, but like a part of it is, like our deck, we do have ADA accessibility to the gathering space. Yes.
Okay, you may be seated. We don't have anyone to for or against or in general comments. So we're going to close the discussion from the floor. And my final question for the code office again, could you share how this came about? You discovered this because again, this
Oh,
was
like she said, I discovered it by reading the paper,
by reading the paper. Okay. All right.
which happens a lot,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Because I remember we discussed and that
Yeah.
was not a part of the issue. Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions, any comments, any discussions? Or if not, maybe we can entertain. And by the way, I'm sorry, if you could come back one more time over there. Did you fully understand what Mr. Baum put at the
Yes.
end of?
Yes.
Is that
and
agreeable to
absolutely.
you?
Oh, yeah. We're already obligated because we use capital funds to purchase the recovery house and also already, that's why we can't change 7 North Congress either. That's why we want to expand, we have to do it there.
Okay.
Yeah, so I do understand that, and it will always be in mental health.
Next time, any changes?
Oh, I know.
You need to see this.
I have a quick phone call to, yes.
Even if you want to put
On
the
speed
guard or
dial.
anything.
No, I know. I wanted to call him about something else the other day, and I'm like,
A flag post or
yeah, I
anything.
know.
You'll have
Just,
to.
I'm not going to do that. I know. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we are closed. The discussion from the floor. We need the motion.
You want me to read the whole thing again?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I move that the Board of Zoning Appeals grant a variance from ACC 23-1001, Table A, Schedule of Bulk Controls for 7 North Congress Street to allow a building addition with a left side setback of 0 feet, where 8 feet is the minimum requirement, and a variance from ACC 23-1001, Table A, Schedule of Bulk Controls for 34 West Washington Street to allow a building addition with a rear setback of 0 feet, where 30 feet is the minimum requirement. Structure lot coverage of 57%, where 30% is the maximum allowance, and total for coverage of 61%, where 60% is the maximum allowance, provided that this variance shall be revoked if the property cease to be used for mental health purposes.
I second.
We got a second. Should we just go to the voting?
Yeah. Let me just make a note. My concern here is nothing is forever. And I can see 50, 100 years down the line, a fraternity buying this property and suddenly having this great expanse. While it's for mental health purposes, I can see a good reason for it, but there may be other purposes which really are not in the public interest, which to allow the properties to be connected like that.
Be a good party on that patio, though.
Yeah.
My question was if we could suspend the rules and just go to the voting. Can we do that? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All in favor of granting this variance, please raise your hand. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All opposed? Okay. You have the variance, 5-0.
Team.
Very hard to take
Okay, we have disposition of the minutes from November 13, 2018 meeting. I read it right away when you sent it, so everything was fine, but it's been so long. Everybody's fine. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
I move that the minutes from November
13.
13 be approved.
Second.
Again, all in favor? Okay, very good.
I missed out.
And by the way, if one of you voted last time, right?
Yes, last
So,
time.
Okay, you should also. Are you voting yes? today?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because
Can I do
those who
that?
were not here could not vote.
I was here last time.
Okay, we're adjourned.
Thank you.